everyone. My name is Carson Lee, and I'm in the full-time PGDE English primary stream, 2020-21.
And I'm Alice Yu, and I'm from the PGDE secondary English stream.
We did our PGDE immersion this year.
Yes, in Australia.
Well, before the immersion, I have to say, honestly, I was a bit disappointed that we couldn't go to Australia in person to get the full immersion experience. But to my surprise, doing the immersion online was actually a very fulfilling experience. Was way beyond anything that I've expected. What about you?
Yeah, so same as you, I also felt very disappointed. And I believe everyone knows how I felt. Mm-hmm. So I was actually basically hoping until the last moment that a miracle would happen, that the travel ban would be cancelled and we could go to Australia right away. Right. But of course, that couldn't happen. It was impossible. However, I agree with you. We had a very meaningful activity and a very good memory with each other and learned a lot of new things.
We sure did.
So we had a 6-week immersion, right? So every week we were given different themes and topics. And for example, like giving classroom management, giving instructions, or like adapting coursebook for our learning and teaching. And by the end of every week, we had to do a peer teaching session, which we had to be the teachers and to teach our classmates and also the teacher in turn, right?
Right. Yes. So as our teacher told us, we were basically switching from a student hat to a teacher hat. So we were getting both the learning and the teaching experience throughout the 6 weeks. If I have to pick one, then I have to say the peer teaching experience. It was challenging at times because we had to plan one lesson every week, which was difficult to do. Since it's the first time for us to plan lessons, and also doing the lesson online through Zoom, it was a new experience for us. So doing the peer teaching was challenging, but then also at the same time, it was so much fun, and it was a great learning opportunity for us. So yeah, that has to be my favorite activity. What about you?
So for me, my favorite activity was the warm-up activity. When we were in the immersion, we had to wake up before 8 every day. So we were so sleepy, everyone was yawning and drowsy. But the teacher really put a lot of effort to create a lot of warm-up activities for us, like singing, dancing, and it really woke us up.
Yeah, and those activities were actually really helpful. Yeah, and really helpful for us to incorporate into our own teaching. From the simple things, having to wake up early, kind of managing our time and schedule. But hey, it's all part of the training to become a real teacher, having to wake up early.
Yes.
Some other challenges for you?
The other most challenging part, I think, would be the peer teaching part. Because as I've mentioned before, we had 6 weeks of peer teaching, and not every week we were really confident about it. I wasn't an artsy person, so through those weeks about artworks and also English literature, I really struggled a lot.
Yeah, some of the topics that we had to teach were definitely not the most common topics that we're familiar with in English teaching. But I think it also really made us push our limit, try something new, have a wider perspective on the different topics that we can incorporate into our English teaching. So poetry, like you said, visual arts in English learning. They were challenging. We had to do a lot of research, think about how to make this easy and approachable for our students. But I think they were really fun, and we could get really creative with them. So that was a good learning experience for us, right?
So it was through the challenges that we find fun through it.
Yep, definitely.
I would like to highlight one online platform that many of us won't be familiar with. It is the word wall. interactive online platform
right.
where we could set different, probably academic questions, but through a more interactive and in games, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I actually got to use WordWall today in my teaching.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm still using it to this day. It's very helpful. And for me, thinking about some of the activities, just the ways the teacher really got us engaged into the online setting. As all of us are already aware of, online learning can get boring sitting behind the computer screen, and it can be really demotivating.
Yes.
But the different ways to motivate our students and engage them, get them to be really active in their learning, like dancing, using hand gestures and movements incorporated into our activities. All of those were still useful, very useful.
Yes. So unfortunately, to the future Hong Kong U students in the upcoming year, you will have to experience e-immersion online, but don't feel demotivated right away. So we were the ones who experienced the e-immersion, and we had really good experience throughout those weeks. And so my advice would be just be engaged and try your best to enjoy the learning experience, because you never know what you would take away from that.
Yeah, for me, the advice that I would like to give, and I think this applies to any type of online learning, not just e-immersion, is to be prepared and open to learn. Because even though we're sitting behind the computer screen, the teachers at the immersion really are prepared to just give everything to us. There's so much that they have prepared, and so all we have to do is to be open and prepared and be excited about the learning experience that's ahead.
So good luck everyone, and try your best and enjoy the e-immersion. We are looking forward to hearing some of your good news.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
Happy graduation.
Happy graduation.